Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of HIPTHER Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
On 5 of our HIPTHER Talks podcast. Thank you guys for being with us last year, and we hope to see you again this year. We had so many great achievements in this past year. We even got diplomas from Spotify, guys. So yeah, I'm really happy about that, and we hope to continue this stride in 2026 as well. So our first guest is Chaim Heber. Chaim, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. This is something that we usually have on our
Close
podcast.
enough. Yeah.
So he is founder and CEO of Cevro AI, and you guessed it, guys. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence in our first episode. So we have this tradition here that we are still keeping even in 2026, that we like to give the opportunity for our guests to say a few words about themselves in their own words. So could you let the audience know who they're dealing with today?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the introduction. My name is Chaim Heber, as you've mentioned, and I'm actually not traditionally from the iGaming background. I'm more from like a product perspective. And I remember coming to my first ICE and sort of making my rounds through ICE. The first booth that I went to was Optimove, and I was just learning
Okay.
about the market. Like, what do you guys do, and how does this work? That was a fascinating ICE. I walked stand to stand and booth to booth, just learning really what white label is and what turnkeys are, and pretty much everything. And I really sort of found the fascination in the market, and I think that everybody that works in this industry kind of knows what I'm talking about. Just like the dynamic, everything is like so dynamic, and the people that you talk to are just so interesting. So I sort of made a decision at that moment that the product that we were building at that point was going to be focused primarily on the iGaming market. And we sort of made a hard transition into this space, and put all our efforts into building an amazing product that serves customers, specifically in the iGaming space.
All right, so I guess we all had these type of moments in our life when we attended a conference and we said, "Oh, I want to be in this space. I don't want to go anywhere else."
What do you think that is? What's the
I don't know.
magic?
Mine was in 2008 in Budapest. It was an affiliate conference back then. It was the wild days of the conferences, and yeah, I think that the magic of people being so open in this industry is what pulls you in, and this is what I keep saying, that even though we get stigmatized a lot, finally it has come to a point where the industry is taken seriously as a tech on the tech side, as some pioneers in many things. So I'm interested about you taking us back to the beginning, and I'm also want to know what was the core frustration, or maybe the moment you realized iGaming industry needed a different kind of support platform. Because you said you visited ICE, you said that you said, okay, we want to build this, but why a support platform?
It's an amazing question. Actually, as I was going through the booths and discussing with different operators what they have in place currently, I noticed a big gap in the way that they do support. On the one hand, either you had a team of 100, 200 support agents that were doing your customer support, and you were trying to keep up with training them and bringing them onto your team and keeping a consistent level of quality across your whole team. On the other hand, you didn't care about it at all, and you would put like a chatbot in place, which, I mean, we all know is very frustrating. You don't want to talk to like a chatbot, right? You really want to get like a good level of support. And at the time, we had this idea that we can actually use the LLM models that were just surfacing at that moment. Mixing those LLM models, again, it was still in very early days of LLMs. It wasn't really possible to do a lot of what you can do today. And mixing that with sort of a lot of advanced techniques to build an engine that was so much better than what chatbots were, and that you can deploy across your whole stack and have players feel like they're actually getting a level of support that felt human. Um, and I think that we thought that throughout those conversations with the operators, there's such a need for this. There is nothing in the market that was sort of bridging those two worlds together. The desire to give an amazing experience to customers, and at the same time trying to do that in a scalable way.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. And which year was this when you visited ICE?
This will be my third ICE this year.
Oh, okay. So it was still in London then.
Yes, it was exactly London Excel.
All right. So yeah, the one in Barcelona is coming up in just a couple
Yes,
of
we
days
will
now,
be there,
so,
and we're
yeah.
going to have a stand there, and hopefully we're going to see you.
All right. No, you will not. I don't do other conferences. I just go to ours. So there's no time for me to go to these other events.
Oh wow.
So you said that support should be an engagement engine, not a cost center. I read that in an article. So could you expand on how that mindset shift influenced Chevro's development?
I think that most platforms that exist, AI platforms, when you're out in the market and you're looking for one, they're all workflow builders, right? You're basically
Yeah.
building a workflow chatbot, maybe like an better AI chatbot of sorts. Um, the way we've built our platform is player focused. Everything revolves around the player, right? Like, what is the experience that the player wants, and how do we deliver that experience to them? The most important thing is realizing that customer support is one of the most underrated touch points for operators. This is the moment when a player might have a frustration, or they're happy, or they're frustrated. But this is the moment that they're giving you the opportunity to talk to them, right? You want to take that moment and do the most you can at that critical touch point. So using a platform that understands player behavior, knowing how to respond to them, not just throwing back at them a little quick answer from an FAQ, or a generic response, but actually trying to understand the full context of the conversation, the previous contexts of conversations, and building out, an experience for a player that actually resonates with them. This is so critical. So again, we're not a workflow builder. This is a product that's focused specifically for CX people to be able to design customer experiences that are incredible.
All right, it makes a lot of sense, and it makes it sound so good because usually, like you said, these type of chatbots are like, okay, somebody says, "Hold my beer, I'm going to build a better one.
Exactly.
Mine is going to be," yeah." But every time it's the same thing. They end
Correct.
up being the same, like copy pasted. So, what made iGaming different enough from e-commerce or SaaS that a purpose-built AI was essential?
That's such an interesting question, and probably one of the most important questions, because um, a player is very different than someone that's ordering a product online. This is entertainment, but it's entertainment in a very specific way. It's like high stakes, right? There's you have to be careful with addiction. You have to be careful with a lot of different aspects. There's real money on the line. The most important thing that you need to build is trust. And I think that knowing how to do that in customer support is very important. You can't just say, we're making your return, we're exchanging your order, it'll come in a few days. This is like, wait,
Yeah.
where's my money? Right? Why didn't I win? There's so much that goes into that. There's so much that goes into not just sounding repetitive and not just sounding like pre-canned messages, but actually knowing how to engage. That I think that you need to have a vertical specific agent. At the moment, you can't take a generic AI and say, deal with my customers, right? You wouldn't trust
Yeah.
that. So there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes to actually make that reliable.
All right. So when reading on the internet, some articles and I've read many things about the Chevro agents, and I know I'm going to sound like ChatGPT, but these agents aren't just smart; they are empathic. So say they have empathy, they are trained on soft skills. So this is very interesting to see, especially nowadays. Like I said before, these chatbots are driving us crazy sometimes. So how do you approach AI training to deliver this type of or this kind of human touch at the scale on which operators are now operating?
The most important thing is to go back to first principles. It's basically to think about what would your best support agent do in certain moments, right? When they have like
Oh,
a high stakes, frustrated player come at you, what are the techniques that your best agent would use to, de-escalate the situation or rebuild trust or reassure the customer? And usually you have to use, psychology techniques and things like that, um, to make sure that they know that you're there for them. You're not there to just deflect. That's a very, a classic thing that we'll do. We'll say, oh, a deflection, and that's terrible. You really want to give them the feeling um, that you're there for them. There's, I'll give you a quick example. There's, one of the most classic examples of customer support is asking for a bonus, right? This is like
yeah.
one of the big contact drivers. And you can do this in a few different ways. If a player asks for a bonus, now imagine that they're not qualified. Whatever the formula is, they're not qualified for the bonus. You can say that you're not qualified for a bonus in a few different ways. One of them could come out in a very generic, you know, based on our policies, you're not qualified. Check our knowledge base to see, what the policies are. Or you can say, hey, give me a second. Let me see what I can do for you. I know that you're an amazing player. You've been with us for some time. Just give me 2 minutes and I'll look into this. Right. Then you take the 2 minutes and you actually do the checks in the back office. You speak to, shift manager, you get your approvals, and then you come back to the player and you say, look, I know you're amazing. We have this great rapport. I tried everything I could to get you a bonus at the moment. It's not going to work right now, but I assure you that if you come back in a few days, I can try again and look at that. Like, what's the difference between those two responses? One of them feels like there's a person that cares. The operator knows who you are. Um, the policies don't allow for it at the moment, but they care. The other one is like, you're just one of many. And I
Yeah,
think that
exactly.
using these techniques is what makes it amazing.
Yeah, these are the soft skills that some of the even some of the customer service people are missing. Because I remember I was working in at a telecommunication company in a shop. We were the actual interface of this service provider with the customers. And during training, they told us that once a client comes in angry, like you said, like with the bonus, you don't want to pop that balloon. You want to deflate it. Like you start to search for problems, what they found, and people are people. They will totally understand if you say, okay, give me 2 minutes, let me find out what happened, and come back with an answer, rather than, okay, like you said, check our policy next. Like it's so. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that iGaming operators have about AI in terms of customer support, and how does Chevro challenge them?
Well, I think that number one is it's right about the point that you were mentioning, which is many of the human agents don't have the skills that the AI has, right?
Yeah.
And because a lot of people have seen chatbots that are not great, there's a feeling of, I'd rather employ a human agent that's, similar cost or something along those lines, maybe a little higher cost, but it's a human. It's gonna be amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and the real answer is that it's not always like that, right? Like we were
Exactly.
just saying. Um, Number one is management, turnover, training, consistency. There's so many things that come with humans. One day the guy drank too much the night before and he's not fully on his game, so he's missing the critical signals that are happening within customer support conversations to be able to capture those. The misconception is that you're going to reduce quality if you bring in AI. Um, our main positioning and the main product is actually the exact opposite. You're going to improve customer support experiences. You're going to have these amazing moments that are going to be developed between your players and your brand when you employ consistent, reliable, empathic agents across your organization. That's number one. I do have a few more if you want to go into them, but
Sure.
I would say is so important. The second one I would say is it's not magic. I mean, it feels magical when you talk to these agents, but it's not magic when you set it up, right? You have to be very intentional setting these things up. You can't come in one day, throw it at a few articles, and say, "Do my support," right? And then look at it and say, "Oh, it didn't do a good job." You have to intentionally test edge cases. You have to see how it performs in the real world, and then tweak your procedures accordingly, right? I mean, the world is definitely moving in the direction of AI, right? It's unavoidable. And if you want to succeed as an organization, you have to understand the principles of AI and how important it is that your organization needs to learn how to implement AI. Take these technologies that exist and understand the fundamentals and continuously improve them so that you have top tier experience for your customers. I would say those are my two biggest ones.
All right. So how do you guys balance automation with personalization, and especially given the emotional and regulatory stakes that are involved in the iGaming industry?
Um, Look, there's a lot of guardrails that have to be put in place, especially when it comes to regulations. One of the things that we have in the platform is the ability to have different guardrails for different geos, right? And I
All
think
right.
that that's something that's really, really important, and we saw that right from the beginning. And this can get obviously very complex when you're trying to build these things out by yourself, but having a platform that supports that out of the box is important. Um, you need to know what words you cannot say. You need to be able to detect certain nuanced signals from players, that they may have an addiction or, that they might be going through trouble, and you need to be able to escalate those moments. At the same time, no one says that compliance has to fight personalization. You can give an amazing experience to players, right? And you could still be compliant. You don't have to sacrifice quality of support in order to be regulatory compliant. And that I think is something that is important. And I think that, giving a rigid experience is not necessarily the way to be compliant.
All right. So I know for certain that some people have a short memory. Some people have longer memories. And I know that Chevro AI emphasizes on memory and context, but you guys are not compromising privacy while doing it. So, how do you achieve this balance technically and ethically? Because sometimes when you use these chatbots and you have a repetitive question, they will totally forget about the earlier one or what you talked about, and that sometimes drives you crazy, but some people don't even notice that. So I'm really curious about how do you balance this out.
I think that the way we think about memory is a lot more than just remembering previous conversations. That's like, I would say, level one, right?
All right.
Making it really personal. And this is an ongoing improvement. This is something that we're working on, I think, probably with our biggest effort this year, um, is really understanding who is Zoltan, right? Like, who is this player that I'm talking to? What are the preferences and the way he likes to communicate with me? And how can I improve my next experience based on what he told me last time? Right. So it's not just if you come in twice in a row saying something about a deposit that you want me to remember about that. Yes, that's important, but that's sort of level one. I want when you come into a conversation that you should feel that the agent that you're talking to is basically your VIP account manager. He knows everything about you. He knows how you like to talk. He knows what you don't like, and he could communicate accordingly. And I think that doing that in a really high level way makes players build a certain level of loyalty to brands that is unavoidable. They want to stick with this company and they don't want to go anywhere else. So I think that the opportunities with memory and personalization are tremendous.
Right. So you also said that the great support experience is a retention tool, right? So could you share a real world example of how you guys turn the support moment into a loyalty moment? Because this is something important, and we talked about this on many of our virtual meetups and podcasts. That it's very important to turn like these type of people that have questions into loyal customers.
It's um it's so important to do this right. I think that anybody that's in customer support and really is passionate about it understands that the most impactful moments are the ones that players are already frustrated in. That's the opportunity you have to turn that around from a frustrating experience to a loyalty experience, to a trust building experience. And I have so many examples of this. So, a classic one would be one that comes to mind. A frustrated player coming in about a withdrawal that his withdrawal was stuck or something along those lines, and um, being able to respond to the player not in a generic way of our general withdrawal policy is 2 to 3 days or whatever that is, but actually looking into it and creating a ticket in the back office to make sure that it's actually resolved. The player at the end of the experience told the agent, "Forget helping me with my issue. Let's just chat." And they went on, for a conversation, a personal conversation afterwards. Um, we noticed after that conversation that every time the player came back, they wanted to talk to this agent. Um, and when I say this agent, I mean this AI agent. So um, this player stuck around even after a frustrating moment because the experience with that agent was amazing. Because that agent was able to turn that frustration into a good experience where the player's like, okay, that makes sense. It took a little bit extra time, but they were doing a KYC check or whatever it was. And I thought that was amazing.
Ah, that sounds good. So make sure to tell these things to the customers at ICE
Exactly.
this year,
Yes.
because yeah, this is some very interesting case. So how does Chevro recognize, like let's say, a VIP in the making and intervene meaningfully before support issue escalates? Because sometimes you might scare away these VIP players, but sometimes if you have good customer service, you can keep them.
Yeah, definitely. The opportunity is really in the segments of players that are not actively VIP, right? The active VIPs already have their account managers, and you have your procedures around those, and the way you sort of like that to happen. What I think is now possible is that level of experience that your top 1% of players get, you can extend to everybody else. That
All
wasn't
right.
typically possible previously, right? Because you would have to employ, amazing agents for every single player. It's not scalable. But when you have that level of agents that can be easily extendable to the rest of the player base, now you can give everybody the same level of experience, and you can upsell, you can figure out what players like, you can personalize the experience accordingly. I think that is one of the biggest unlocks that happen with support. It's not just about cutting head count. Cutting head count. And saving operational costs. Yes, that's the cherry on top, but it's actually about improving the loyalty and the LTV with the customers that you already have, and giving them something that they would never were able to get previously.
All right. So how does, or maybe what does hyper personalization look like in practice, and how does it differ from traditional segmentation or automation?
Segmentation previously, segmentation until today. I could start that again if you don't mind. But
Sure.
hyper personalization is a term that everybody likes to use a lot. Um, Segmentation, the way it stands today, is predefining a group of players based on a specific criteria that was set in advance. That limits the dynamicness of the conversation based on a certain segment. So that means, for example, I can say anybody that has a certain amount of deposits respond this way. Anybody that has a certain amount of, X deposits respond in a different way. That's very deterministic, right? That's not personalized for each player. I can't say, player A talk to him in the way that he likes, and player B
Yeah.
talk to him in the way that he likes. I have to pull together a whole bunch of different players and decide that this is the best way to talk to them, which it not necessarily is, right? You want hyper personalization is when you actually understand previous conversations, previous requests, previous patterns, and you tailor that to that specific player on the fly. That's something that's really hyper personalization. An example of this would be like if a player came in and you were helping him with deposit, and he asked to change his his payment method from crypto to fiat or whatever it was, and he just mentioned that within the conversation. One way is to just sort out his withdrawal, make a note on his account, and forget about it. The next time he comes in, he'll have the same issue, right? He's going to say, "Oh, can you make this deposit be in fiat again?" Hyper personalization would be remembering that he mentioned that as a preference and skipping
Yeah.
that step altogether and being like, "Hey, last time you mentioned that you wanted to do it in crypto is the same. Do you want that same method this time?" That's like that experience level that you can change.
Yeah, makes sense, and I'm really waiting for this type of experience. So there's no doubt that AI has infiltrated the iGaming space as any other industry and sector, and you as a Forbes Technology Council member, and you're also a thought leader. Uh, where do you see AI going in the next few years within the iGaming space? Because you, I, I don't know if you were watching our virtual meetups or podcast earlier, but we've been talking about uh, customer service and personalization for a while now, and we keep saying that why not when a player has a favorite team, why not all the website is personalized between those team colors, or maybe he would get a preferred bet on that team or something like that, because it's not happening yet, uh, but there's the opportunity to do that, right?
Well, I think that the color idea is definitely a nice idea. I do know that there's some AI companies that are doing hyper personalization with like game lobbies,
Yeah,
which maybe touches upon
yeah,
that, or
but
at least
usually they're the same, like copy
yes.
paste. Usually the lobbies are the same, just like maybe the menu is a bit different color, but that's it.
I think that it's very hard to predict where AI is going. Um, One of the interesting things being in our space is that we once you understand the customer, you can
Yeah,
tailor the experience a lot. Now, when it comes to the method in which we communicate with players, which is chat, voice, email, this is how humans interact with humans, right? And that's sort of like the new interface for um, operators to actually have with players. Websites are going to be important, and they're always going to be important. But the where you're going to build a lot of loyalty is going to happen in these types of conversations, and these conversations are you're able to tailor them and really personalize them. Like we said, hyper personalization within these conversations a lot more than I think that you can do with UI. Because even if you change the color, that's cool, but like there's also a limit to like how much you can actually tailor the website experience to every different player. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like Netflix does a good job at actually showcasing, the movies that you might want to watch. Sure. But there's nothing like being able to build a relationship with somebody in a way that's like feels personal. So I think that that's just an interesting point. Again, it's really hard to imagine where the AI market is moving. It's just moving so fast. If you're trying to build something yourself and you started like 6 months ago, like that technology is old already, right? Like
yeah.
it's today's like there's a new technology that came out today, and you have to always be on on the lookout for what's happening. But particularly when it comes to iGaming, I think that the exciting part is going to be that in terms of last mile, like the player relationship, sales, retention, marketing, these channels are going to converge a lot, in my opinion. It's not going to be just like support as a function and marketing as a function. They're each going to be talking to each other very, very tightly related. So if we have a support experience, I can then actually reach out to you proactively and offer you something in marketing that feel so personalized that it's going to be like, wait, that is amazing, right? And I think that that's where we're going, and hopefully we're leading the way on that.
Yeah, and let's not forget the industry is filled with creative people, and not to mention that this technology, like AI agents, are enabling us to create like software applications like never before at the pace like never before. And I heard a podcast where they said that this is the right time when companies made out of 3 to 5 members will be making, let's say, even hundreds of millions due to this fast scaling of opportunity. And no doubt the iGaming space is not different, and it's going to end somewhere in that step. So
Definitely
what's
interesting times.
yeah, it is. So what's one decision you made early on at Chevro that you are most proud of right now, and maybe something that set the company apart from the beginning?
I think it's two things that I could bring up. Number one is actually to be iGaming specific. That allowed us to really do a lot of things. Honestly, it allowed us to push the boundaries beyond what generic solutions can do, because our customer base is so much more hyper focused. We know
Yeah.
exactly what our operators do and what they want and how they want it. So we can enable our platform to do that. That's number one, and it ties into probably number two, which is being pretty opinionated on our product. We're not trying to be everything for everybody. We're trying to be the best for a very specific segment or a very specific audience, and I think that has led us to a place where tier one operators are trusting us with critical touch points and actually seeing amazing results from it. So I'm pretty proud of that.
All right, that's good to know. It's good to know that, and at least you did not venture into the adult industry with AI, because that's some that's also an opportunity right now. We see all those apps popping up. So, what advice would you give to founders that are building AI first products in highly regulated markets such as the iGaming industry and, like I said, even the adult industry?
Your biggest benefit, your biggest advantage is sort of having the regulations in place, right? And that leaves the operators in a place where they want to trust a software company that's going to work around them to ensure that they have their needs met in a reliable way. So work really, really closely and listen to every single one of your customers. What do they need? What's behind what they need, right? When they say, we need this feature, it's wait, why do they need that feature? What are they concerned about? Um, and try to turn that into a product that everybody can use. If you do that well and you're opinionated about how you build it, I think that you're going to have a leg up, um, against any big incumbent or legacy software provider that's trying to venture into the AI space. They're slower. They can't operate in the same, niche verticals. They can't operate with every type of functionality and feature that your customers need. So just double down on that.
All right. So my question, because I have a personal desire with this, but what does the AI agent of the future look like to you? So how will it evolve beyond today's capabilities? Because you can see something, and you cannot imagine that you can go beyond that. But of course we can. In my mind, I see that my AI agent is resolving with another AI agent stuff that I don't need to think about. Like you said, bonus. Okay, so I tell my AI agent that I have on my phone, or I don't know, my laptop. Okay, so I need to talk to these customer service people. Do it for me. And the AI agents connect with the other AI agent with the customer service, and they resolve it. And my AI agent comes back and says, "Hey, it's done."
Yeah. Um, well, our job is actually to service the operators. So
I
we're on
know.
the other side. We're on the other side of this, but we have things exactly like these types of functionality, but for the operators, right? So operators can do the same thing. Like they could go into Slack and they can say, Cevro, check on this account. Let me
Yeah.
know if they qualify. If they do, tell the player that they qualify. Right. So you're having like AI agents do things behind the scenes and come back
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
responses and then go back to the player. I think that these things are very interesting. The more capabilities and the more access they have to, different contexts, graphs as they call them, the more they can do. I think that from like a business perspective, what excites me the most is going to be back. It's going to go back to memory, but when I say memory, it sounds like a very generic word. So I want to just
Yeah.
double
Yeah.
down on what memory actually means. Memory again is not remembering previous conversations and saying, I remember your previous conversations. It's actually building like this mini, you know, uh, m- like memory layer on top of every player. So I really like know exactly who he is and what he likes. And where this is going to play out is it's going to play out across channels. So you're going to talk to the operator on the live chat widget. Then you're going to give him a call. Then you're going to send an email. Then you're going to send a WhatsApp, and you're going to get a promotion on email. And we're going to know exactly who you are in all these different touch points. And the messaging is going to be so cohesive, right? We're going to be like, oh, you're getting this bonus because of that support touch point. And we're going to call you because of the way you interacted with that bonus, right? Everybody's trying to do this in different fragmented, different ways with segments and all that kind of good stuff. But I think that when you have that one brain built out on every player, and the style of communication, what resonates with him, you can on the fly build out marketing messaging. You can send him, a WhatsApp. You can give him a call, and it's going to be the same account manager
Yeah.
across all of those. And I think that that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and that is very important because we all know how support tickets and everything. When you send, it's a different person answering. Then they need to go back and find what the other person said. So your tagline could be like every account a VIP account, right? So
Exactly right.
how do you envision delivering this kind of treatment to millions of users simultaneously? And I'm also interested about what role does AI play in making this real?
Well, obviously, your tech has to be very scalable, right? You can't just
Yeah.
build what they call AI slop. Like your infra has to be able to handle thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of calls at um, you know low latency, etc. But otherwise, I think that you have to. The only reason this is actually possible, I'm going to turn that around a little bit, is because of AI. The only reason you're going to be able to deliver this kind of treatment to millions of players is wasn't possible previously, but now it is because you
Yeah.
have AI agents that actually can do this in an incredible, consistent but personal way, right? You want them to follow your guidelines and your guardrails, but you also want them to be dynamic. You don't want every conversation to sound the same. So I think that it's a new unlock that has never been possible before.
All right. And I'm also interested in about, as a closing question, about what's next for you guys in 2026 and beyond, because I say this every year in January. We blink once, it's June. We blink again, it's December. The year is gone. So, are there any big features that you can share, maybe, or partnership, or maybe innovations on the horizon?
I've never been as excited about our roadmap as I am now. It's,
That's good.
everybody talks about being able to do more software faster. Yes, that's true, but I have so much more that I want to do because of that, right? Like the more you can do, the more hungry you get. Um, so it's really exciting. I think that the near term focus is enabling more workflows and more context. And the way we're doing that is by partnering with industry specific platforms. Some subs, Smarticos, Flows. These are amazing industry partners that unlock certain capabilities that otherwise we wouldn't be able to have access to. As an example, we can actually do end to end KYC when you have some sub integration, or you can unlock some very interesting flows when you partner with flows. So that those things are actually interesting to us. We also are looking at expanding the quality of our voice agents so that they can talk in a uh, faster, more less latency kind of way. And I think that what we're seeing with our bonus agents are amazing. The ability for the agents to actually understand if you do or don't deserve or qualify for a free bonus, and what type of bonus is going to resonate with you, and which one do we want to give you, and which one do you want to take. Like, these agents are incredible. This is going already beyond the level of customer support and leading us into proactivity. And this is what the most impactful things that we're working on at the moment are, tuning in, fine tuning our like proactive approach. Like, when do we reach out to you? How do we reach out to you? And doing that in a way that really works for players.
All right, so this sounds very exciting. I would really like to catch up with you in December or next January to see where everything goes, because it's going to be a crazy, crazy year for everyone then.
Not a question. Not a question.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. I can't even imagine where we're going to be at the end of this year. Just the pace of everything it's been insane.
Yeah, it's the same feeling, because this actually 2025 was the year when agents were first time heard of. The main like the street mainstream media also started talking about agents, and yeah, it's got very far, very fast, and oh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the year of adoption and expansion. Anybody that was a little hesitant is going to try it. Anybody that tried it and it didn't work is going to try it again.
Yeah.
You can't afford not to. That's
it's
really what this year is going to be.
And it's not just the iGaming industry, because we're also doing any other sectors. But yeah, in every sector, it's wow. This
Not
is
a
the time
question.
to do it.
Yeah, not a question.
All right.
Just like start tinkering, right? Like, just play with it, figure out what you can do, and start running with it.
And it's easy. You just say what you want, and the agent creates it for you. That's so easy.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time, Chaim, and for our audience, of course, for this sticking around. We will be back next week with more crazy stuff. We have 3 episodes lined up for 1 week. Every second day, there's a new episode coming up in January. We're kicking off things on a rapid pace, because it's going to be like a very a speedy year. So thank you again, guys. Take good care.
And that's a wrap for this section of HIPTHER Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.